Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Candy Shop. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington, bringing you all of my perspectives and opinions on pop culture and reality television. But then we also have our self-care session side, our wellness side, our empowered person side. So today we are going to be talking about red flags in dating and relationships. So whether or not you are single and you're looking to get into a relationship, this will be a good discussion on some things to look out for. If you are dating someone, these are also good things to look out for. Maybe it's a sign you need to reevaluate your relationship. Even if you are married, there can be red flags in marriages as well. So as you guys come in, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and put a comment in the comment section. Where are you watching from? What are some of your questions on red flags in relationships? Where are you in your own relationship journey? And be sure just to give a shout out and say hi to the Candy Cane crew. That is right. And if you catch this on the replay, thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you get alerted whenever we go live. That's right. So I'm going to wait for you guys to come into the room. We can all get jazzy. And I am so excited for this self-care session, which is all about what are the red flags when it comes to dating and relationships. So I want to start the session out a little bit differently than we usually do, but I want to start doing this for our self-care sessions. So I want to start the session out with a little bit of breath work. So hopefully you're in a place where you can do this. If you're not, that's okay. You can always come back to it. Oh, hey, everyone. Yay, you guys are coming in. Hey, Peace Love. She goes, hey, Candy. Hey, beautiful. Yes, with the photo. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, Double Tree. She goes, hola, hola. Hey, Double T. She goes, hola, hola. Yes. Hey, Angie B. She goes, hello, Candy from Philly. Yes, what is up? Hey, everyone. Hey, Candy Canes. That's right. As you come in, say hi. Where are you listening from? What are some of your red flag questions or relationship questions in general? Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. So as we get started in today's session, which is all about what are the red flags when it comes to dating and relationships, let's start out with a little bit of breath work. So I want everyone to breathe in for 4, to hold it, and then release for 4. And we'll just do that a couple of times. So breathe in for 4, hold, and breathe out for 4. And we'll do that one more time. Breathe in for 4, hold, and breathe out for 4. So I just want us all to be really centered, to be really at peace and ready to receive this self-care session today. I also want you to say either out loud or in your mind, depending where you are, and also put it in the chat box, 3 of the most powerful words in our language. These are 3 of the most powerful words in our language. I want you to repeat after me, either out loud if you can, in your mind, and then also put it in the chat box. I am worthy. Breathe in for 4. Hold and breathe out for 4. We're going to do it one more time. I am worthy. Again, breathe in for 4. Hold and breathe out for 4. So that is the space. That is the energy that I want you to have during our time together. I want you to come from a place of worthiness and a place of deservingness as we go through this self-care session. All right, so let's jump in. Yes, Double T, come through. Yes, Double T, you are worthy. Yes, you are all worthy. Everyone watching, put it in the chat box. I am worthy. That is the space from which we will receive today's self-care session. Yes, yes, yes. I am worthy. Okay, so let's get into it. So Hey, Angie B. Yes, I am worthy. Yes, you are, Angie B. Yes, you are worthy. We are naming it and we are claiming our worth. Yes, we are. So the first sign might seem obvious, but it's actually not. So the first red sign is they're not single. They're actually just not single and not available. And the reason why I say this seems like an obvious one, but it's not. But how many times have you gotten into a situationship or a relationship with someone who is just getting out of a relationship, but it's like that gray area? Oh, like she still calls and, whatever, like she's still into me. I'm trying to let her down easy. Or, like I want to get divorced. We're separated, but I'm still technically married. But, we're separated though. She does her thing. I do my thing, or whatever the case may be, right? They're not actually single. They're not actually divorced. They're not actually not out of their previous relationship. And I know that sounds like a no-brainer, but you would be surprised how many people date, fall in love with, even have kids with people who are not actually single. You can either haphazardly become the side piece, guy or girl. Maybe it's unbeknownst to you, and by the time you figure out what's going on, you're too far deep into it. You're already in love with the person. So there are different ways to do that, but that is a major red flag. If someone is not actually divorced, if someone is still dipping it and doing it with their so-called ex, but it's very clear that that it's still muddy with that person, that is a massive red flag to get out of the relationship. If you like that person, let them clean up their side of the road. Let them get the divorce. Let them cut off that relationship. And when they are actually single and in a place to be with you, then come back to you and have it. But don't be that middle ground person who's kind of just a filler until they figure out what they actually want and who they actually want, right? So that's one sign of a red flag. Another major red flag is that they don't want to put a label on it. They don't want to call you girlfriend, boyfriend. They don't want to get married to you. They don't want you to be their wife or their husband. If you have been dating someone for an extended amount of time and you are clear that you want that commitment where it's this is my boyfriend, this is my girlfriend, and they are unwilling to give that to you or to do that with you or to initiate it, that is a huge red flag. Get out. You are worthy and you are deserving. If someone does not see that and they are not willing to put a label on it and to lock down your relationship and to make sure the whole world knows that they are yours, that's a big red flag that maybe they are seeing other people, dating other people. They don't think that you are a good potential person to be. Basically, they don't see themselves as getting serious with you, if that makes sense. So they want to kind of just like keep it cool, keep it casual. Let's not put a label on this. Well, why not? That's a big red flag. Another red flag is they don't introduce you to their friends and their family and vice versa. They don't want to be introduced to your friends or family. So if you are dating someone and you've never hung out with their friends, you've never met their family, they are not interested in getting to know your friends or family, that is a big red flag. Again, that goes back to, are they taking you in the relationship seriously? Are they dating somebody else that they're bringing to the cookouts and to the holidays and to the birthdays and meeting the family and everything like that? So it's a big red flag that they either A, don't see themselves getting that serious with you, or B, there might be somebody else in the picture. So you have to kind of figure out what's going on there. But also on top of that, you also have to remember how long have you been dating and where are you in the relationship? Because another red flag is moving too fast. So if you've only been dating a couple of weeks, then maybe it's not time to meet the family and the friends and everybody else. So you have to have discernment of where are we in our relationship. But if you know that you are at a point in your relationship where you should have a title, You should. Oh, hey, To Be Native. Thank you so much for the super chat. She goes, hello, Candy and the Candy Canes. Yes, hello, To Be Native. Yes, thank you so much for the super chat. Double T says, so true. Dated a dude for 3 years, only met his sister. Girl, we've all been there. We've all been there. You are not alone. Thank you so much to Be Black Native. Thank you so much. But that reminds me. So we're talking about that red flag, not meeting friends and family and having discernment, right? So let me define red flag versus issues and problems, because all relationships, family, friends, whatever, romantic, will have issues and problems. No relationship is perfect, but there's a difference between having issues and problems versus red flags. So to me, a red flag is an indication that there is the potential of or the danger of being hurt mentally, emotionally, or physically. That's a red flag. It's an indication of a danger to you, whether it's emotional abuse, mental abuse, or physical abuse. Having issues or problems, that can happen. Sometimes guys have cold feet to commit. Doesn't mean they're not into you. Sometimes they just have cold feet and need to work it out. But you need to have the discernment to know, is this a red flag? Is this an indication of what's to come? Is this an indication that this could escalate? Versus, is this just an issue or a problem that we need to work out together? So you need to have that discernment, and you need to trust your gut to know, is this a red flag or is this an issue or a problem? And I think another big way to be able to understand the difference of the two is your partner willing to work through it? Do they listen to you? Do they hear you? And are they open to work through what the issue or problem is? If they are unwilling to listen to you, if they are unwilling to work through the problem with you, that is a red flag. It's not the presence of the problem or the issue. It's your partner's unwillingness to address it. Then it becomes a red flag. So as we go through the self-care session, be mindful of that. What are issues and problems versus what are red flags? Because no relationship is perfect. And all relationships require work. Okay. So the next red flag is, okay, we talked about going super fast. We talked about going super slow. Mixed signals, hot and cold. This is the one that pisses me off the most. I hate it when someone is super, super hot and then they ignore you. Super, super hot and then they pull back. That is a really big red flag, that they are making you a place filler. So when they have downtime or they're bored, they'll reach out, they'll text, they'll DM, they'll do whatever. But then where they're occupied doing X, Y, and Z with who knows else, they fall off the face of the earth. Or they don't show up on big things. They don't show up on the birthday. They don't show up on Christmas. They don't show up on New Year's Eve or Valentine's Day, but they have no problem calling you on a random Saturday night to see what's up. Mixed signals. That is another big red flag. That person doesn't have good intentions for you being in a serious relationship. You want someone who is consistent. And within that consistency, another big red flag is if what they say don't match up to what they do. So if someone keeps feeding you all of these love bombs and all of these promises and this love fantasy, but anytime it comes up for them to actually show up and to, put their money where their mouth is, they disappoint you. They let you down. They don't come through. That is a big red flag. I always say, watch what someone does, not what they say. If they don't have integrity, if you can't trust their word, that is a very big red flag. What are they hiding? Why are they lying? Why are they manipulating you? Why can't they follow through on their words? Narcissistic people love to love bomb. Watch out for love bombing. It feels good to be love bombed. You're so beautiful. You're the best. I've never had a girl like you. You're this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, oh, hey, B. So B says this live is just in time as a toxic ex has just popped back up. Girl, let's talk about it. Because they pop up all the time. They will continue to pop up as long as you feed their ego, As long as you give them your energy and your time, they will keep popping back up because they want to have some semblance of control. Like, oh, I could get her back. Oh, I know, like she will always respond. Oh, she'll always be there. It's like they want to take you and put you on a shelf. And when they're ready to come and play with you, they'll take you down from the shelf. But when they're done playing with you, they want to put you back up on the shelf, right? Hey, Miss T. She goes, hey, Candy and the Candy Canes. Hey, Miss T. What is up? Yes, everyone. Yes. So that is another big red flag. They're not consistent and they don't have integrity. You can't trust what their word is. Another big red flag is that they expect you to always be the one conceding or always to be the one in a position of sacrifice or giving in. If your partner never wants to either A, compromise, where you give a little, he gives a little, or sometimes you give in and the other times he gives all the way in. If there isn't a equity of giving in and giving out and giving in and giving out, that is a big red flag that person does not value you and that person is, for lack of a better term, a user. You really got to look out for these narcissistic user mentalities. If someone is always expecting you to sacrifice, for you to give in, for your needs and wants not to be met, that is a huge red flag that there's something wrong with this person beyond just not being a good partner. Because you really want to watch out for people's personality types, personality traits, and all of those things, because that is what will make them either a good partner for you or a not good partner for you. And that's what we're talking about with the red flags. The red flags are these indications that there could be danger or the potential of danger of a mental, emotional, or physical, or all three abuse. That's really what a red flag is. And if someone expects you to constantly sacrifice yourself for them, that is a huge indication of mental and emotional and maybe even verbal abuse that could happen down the line. So you really have to look out for that. Hey, Tanya Manning. She goes, hey, Candy and the Candy Canes. Miss T says definitely has to be a two-way street. Exactly. You want reciprocity in your relationships. He gives, you give. You give, he gives. Reciprocity in the relationship. Another red flag is that they don't listen to you or they don't care to listen to you. They make it very clear that your opinion and that your point or that your perspective doesn't matter to them. They call you stupid. They call you dumb. They make fun of you. They put you down. Any type of deprecating behavior that makes you feel bad about yourself or less than about yourself is a huge red flag. You also have to be mindful of how do they talk to other people. If they have kids, how do they talk to their kids? What is their relationship like with their parents? How do they treat waiters? How do they treat Uber drivers? How do they treat other people? What are their friendships and relationships like? Do they have toxic friendships? Do they not have any friends? Is it really hard for them to keep friends? Are their friends toxic themselves? What is the company that they keep? You want to be mindful of not just your relationship with this person, but who is this person in totality? How does this person treat people that are in service? The waiters, the Uber drivers, the receptionists, whatever it is. How does this person treat their friends and family? What company does this person keep? Because ideally, if you're dating with intention, you're dating someone that you want to spend your life with. So you have to be mindful of, if you are going to tie yourself to this person, you're not just tying yourself to this person when you're with this person, you're tying your life to this person and their totality. How they treat other people, reflects on you, because if he's out here wilding, people are going to look at you sideways, but also people are who they are. So if someone is really rude and disrespectful and toxic to other people, it is simply a matter of time before they are rude and toxic and disrespectful to you, because people are who they are. And that is a very, very big indication. But I'm not talking about people who have, like I know some people have to, take time away from family if the family is toxic. So I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about how do they show up in life in general. You see what I'm saying? Oh, hey, Obsidian. She goes, seeing your beautiful face and smile brightens my day. Aw, likewise. Thank you, Candy Canes. Yes. Miss Teeth, it sounds like a Kimmy situation. Yeah, Kimmy needs to get out. Girl, you can do better, Kimmy, if you're listening. What's another one? Oh, another red flag is you don't feel safe around them. I don't think we talk about this enough. If you do, like, it sounds bizarre to say that you could be in a relationship with someone and not feel safe. But do you not feel safe around this person? Do you not feel safe to be vulnerable, to open up, to be honest, to be yourself, to say no to them or to push back? Do you fear that they will get angry with you, that they will put you down, that they will hit you, that something will happen? Do you not feel safe? Like, a lot of people are in relationships with people that they do not feel safe with. So if you don't feel safe with your partner, whether it's on a mental, emotional, or physical level, get out. That's not even a red flag. That is a big exit sign. Take the next exit, get off the road. If you don't feel safe with your partner holistically, that is a big red flag. If you don't feel that you can be honest with your partner and they will receive it in a way that is healthy, that is a big red flag. Hey, Sandra Richardson. She goes, hello, Candies and everyone. Hey, girl. Hey, yes. All right. We are filling it up, guys. So that is a big red flag. Another red flag is that they get very jealous. Sometimes we think, and we've been sort of conditioned and taught, oh, if a guy is jealous, that means he really likes you. Oh, you want to get him back? Just make him jealous, girl. No, because jealousy, when it becomes an extreme, it might sound flattering. It might be a little like ego stroke, but it's really rooted in their need to control. And you don't want to be with someone who controls you. Miss Teen says, try to isolate you. Yes, that is another big red flag. If they have jealousy tendencies, if they try and isolate you from friends and family, if they want to make you dependent only on them, if they try and poison you against other people, you can only trust me. You can only talk to me. I'm the only one that will love you. I'm the only one on your side. Those are really big red flags. Healthy relationships, you should be able to have friendships and family relationships outside of your relationship. You should be two individually fully formed people coming together to make a unit. You shouldn't be isolated. You shouldn't be on an island. You shouldn't be by yourself and only dependent on one person. That is extremely unhealthy, and that is a huge red flag. Another red flag is that they talk about their ex too much, good or bad. If someone you are with is constantly singing the praises of your ex, constantly comparing you to their ex, red flag. Flip side, if they're constantly bad-mouthing and trashing, calling the ex crazy, that's another big red flag. It shows that they are still too emotionally tied to that person. And if someone is constantly calling their ex crazy, I'm always like, was your ex crazy or did you make her crazy? You know what I mean? People like to do that. They like to do crazy making things. And then the moment you react, they want to point like, oh, you crazy, you this, you that. And then they want to gaslight you. Another red flag. Does your person gaslight you? Do they make you question your own reality and sanity? Like, for example, if you know that they're cheating and you confront them and they're like, no, you're crazy. Like, what are you talking about? Like, no, like, they just try and flip it. No, I wasn't at that girl's house. I was with this other person. Like, why are you cheating? You must be cheating since and they try and flip it. Anytime someone makes you question your own reality or they try to invalidate what your experience was, that's gaslighting, that's manipulation, that's narcissism, and that is a very, very dangerous thing. That's very crazy making behavior. When someone undercuts your sense of self, someone makes you second guess what you know you saw or what you heard. Oh, I didn't mean it that way. Oh, I didn't say that. Oh, no, that didn't happen. What are you talking about? Oh, our friends, they always say that you overreact. You're too dramatic. You're too sensitive. Oh, yeah, our friends are always saying how crazy you are. You're so jealous. You're so this, you're that. Like, if someone is constantly eroding your sense of self and your reality, huge, huge red flag. Get out, because that's not going to get better. Let's see. Another red flag is they aren't in a good place in their own life. There's a reason why you need to be equally yoked. But when I say equally yoked, I don't mean you make six figures, he makes six figures. You don't have kids, he doesn't have kids. Like, I don't mean equally yoked like that. I mean equally yoked in the sense of you're both in a good place, however that may look in your individual life. If it's being a single dad who, is raising his kids on his own, but he's in a good place, he's happy in his career, he loves his kids, and he's looking for love. I'm not saying if you are a single woman and you don't have kids to be like, well, we're not equally yoked, I don't got no kids. Like, I don't mean that. I mean, are you working on yourself? Do you have a good self-concept? Are you in a good place in your career and you're still, you're ambitious and you're happy? Do you have like your own place? Like, do you have a car? You know what I mean? Are you mentally strong? Are you emotionally strong? Are you taking care of yourself physically? Do you have good and healthy relationships? Like, are you in a good place in your life? Whatever that may look like. You want to make sure that your partner is too. Obviously, there's no perfect place in life. There's never a time where you're like, oh, everything is check, 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 check. Yay, roses. No, like, it's life, right? But you can be in a good place in your life where you just feel solid and good. So when you know that you're in that good place, that's a good indication that you're ready to be a good partner to somebody else. So you want to make sure that you choose a partner who is also in a good place. That way you come together as a union and you're both healthy and in a good place to make a partnership, rather than having that uneven, unhealthy dynamic where you either become a surrogate mom to this person, or the guy becomes a surrogate dad to the girl, or it just becomes that unequally yoked situation where you don't have a partner, but now you have a project. People say that I want a partner, not a project. Well, the way you don't have a project is by choosing someone who is in a good place. So if you notice that the person you're dating or the person you like or whatever, it just isn't in a good place in their life, I know it might hurt, I know it might suck, but maybe just take a step back and be like, you know what, let me give you some time and space to get you together, because I want you to be the best version of you so that we can be the best version of us. And let that person go to work on themselves. And in the meantime, continue to work on yourself. Maybe you'll find someone who is in a good place and you two can, get together and do it. Or maybe some time will pass, that person will get their stuff together, and then the two of you get back together. But don't try to fall in love. That's what they're talking about. Don't fall in love with someone's potential. Fall in love with who someone is and where they're at. You're not anybody's parent. You're not their project manager. You want to be their partner. So make sure that you are choosing people who are in a good, solid place in their life. That's right. Miss T says, don't become a fixer. It never works. Exactly. Hey, P. He says, hi, Candy and the Candy Canes. Yes. Hey, everyone. We are Over Your Head podcast says, but what about when people... Okay, let's go. So We Are Over Your Head podcast says, but what about when people work on themselves just to get the other person back? That's a really good question. And that's right, you guys. If you have any questions, put them in the comment box. Okay, that's a really good question. And I want to answer it with, people have to make sure that when you are working on yourself, it is for you. It has to be an inside job. You're not working on yourself to be better in order to be worthy and deserving of somebody else, or you're not working on yourself to get someone else back. You are working on yourself so that you get in a place to remember who you are. Because when you're not in a good place, it just means that you forgot. You forgot how worthy you are. You forgot how deserving you are. You forgot how valuable and lovable and capable and chosen you are. When you get in those down places, it's just because you forgot your own divinity of who you are. You forgot your own light. You accidentally gave your power away to someone who didn't deserve it. So when you're working on yourself, you're just remembering who you are, how worthy and valuable and lovable and deserving of respect and everything you want in this world you are, and that you are strong enough and capable enough of getting it and healing. But it has to be an inside job. You are doing it for you. Attracting people is just icing on the cake. But usually when you start to heal and you work on yourself for you, sure, you might attract an ex back, but you might attract something greater as well. You just never know. Because when you are working on yourself just to get somebody else back, you're still putting your worthiness and your value outside of you. You're still saying, I need to do this in order to be worthy of this person, in order to be deserving of this person's love. But the true work is when you remember your intrinsic value, that you are worthy and deserving just because you are. And the work that you're doing is to heal up anything that made you feel other than that. So when I say work on yourself or let the other person go to work on themselves, it's the intentionality is not to work on yourself in order to be good enough for someone else. The intentionality is, I'm going to work on myself so I can remember who the fuck I am. I hope I don't get demonetized for that. But you know what I mean? It's to remember who you are, how valuable you are, how lovable you are, how divine you are. And when you remember that, you don't need anybody else to validate you or to choose you or to accept you or to love you, because you already have given all of that to yourself. And then you also position yourself to be in a position to receive. So instead of being in a position of I have to do, I have to show, I have to prove, I have to sacrifice, I have to fix, I have to da-da-da-da-da-da-da, you get to the place where you are like, I am open and ready to receive. I don't have to do a damn thing. I am open and ready to receive love, to receive validation, to receive respect, to receive a divine partner, to receive a healthy relationship. Those are two different energetic fields. One is I have to do, prove, show, fix in order to be worthy of X, Y, and Z. Another one is I am already worthy and enough. I am open and ready to receive everything that I am worthy and deserving and meant to have. Love comes to me, it flows to me. Everyone loves and respects me. Those are two different energetic levels. That's why working on yourself is so, so important. And also when you get to that level, when you get the red flags, it is so much easier to have your boundaries, have your standards, to walk away, to say no. When you are clear on who you are and when you are clear on who you want, when someone walks in that isn't that, it is very, very easy to say no and to walk away. Because you already know who you are and you already know what you deserve. And if anything less than that tries to come at you or tries to holler at you, you don't have the space for it anymore. You no longer have the space to fight for struggle love. You only have the space to receive divine love. So that's what I mean about it. But that is really, really Really good point. Yes, Miss T. She says, don't forget to stay home and like this video. That's right. Hey, tonight, Hazel. She goes, hey, yes, yes, yes. Miss T says you can't raise a man or a woman. Exactly. Hey, Angie B. She goes, wow, Candy, you just spoke to what I'm going through right now. Oh, man. Yes, 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 yes. Well, I hope I'm helping in any way that I can. I hope this session is helpful. So let me know in the comments. Feel free to call in if anybody wants to. So let's keep going on some more red flags. So let's see. We said we don't feel safe. Okay, communication. So I think communication is one of the biggest gray areas. Oh, thank you so much for subscribing. We are Over Your Head podcast. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. So communication to me is one of the big gray areas where it gets harder and trickier to discern red flag versus issue problem. Because I think that a lot of us, the majority of people, haven't been taught healthy communication skills. I know I wasn't taught healthy communication skills. That was something I had to learn as an adult. And that is no shade to my parents at all. I just didn't learn healthy communication skills. I was very much a people pleaser, extremely codependent. And with that came passive aggressiveness and resentment because, if you're always saying yes, if you aren't communicating clearly, if you're overextending yourself, of course you're going to be resentful. You know what I mean? Of course that's going to happen. Of course you're going to be passive aggressive because you lack the skill set to directly say what you want or need in the moment, so you get resentful and passive aggressive about it later on. So I had to learn healthy communication skills as an adult. I want to be very honest about that. I had to learn all this as an adult. I was not given those tools as a child. No shade to my parents. I love my family, but the majority of it, and it's also a thing where you can't give what you don't have. So we tend to just pass on habits and coping skills and communication styles from generation to generation. If you weren't taught it, how can you know it? So it is what it is. But that's why I think communication is such a big gray area, because you can have communication problems in a relationship and issues, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily a red flag. And I think it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where you can have an issue or a problem, but what makes it a red flag is if your partner is unwilling to address it or to have it. So if you go to your partner and you say, hey, I notice that anytime I just try and have a conversation with you, it might be a tough conversation. It might be something that's hard to talk about. You take it as an argument. You get angry, you get upset, or you shut down, you ignore me, you leave. We can't ever have a real conversation without it either being a fight or you ignoring and leaving me. And then when you come back, you act like everything is cool, but nothing has been actually resolved. And then it becomes this cycle. And if your partner says, oh, no, you're crazy, that's just you, or you're being dramatic, you're being this, I don't know what you're talking about, or if they're just unwilling to talk about the problem, that is a red flag. But if your partner says something like, you know what, you're right, I don't know how to, it takes a lot of self-awareness and humility to say, you know what, you're right. It's really hard for me to have those conversations. I was never mirrored healthy communication. I don't know how to have I don't know how to have confrontation without arguing. I don't know how to solve these things. Maybe you then go, okay, you know what? Me too. I'm struggling in communication as well. Let's get some help. Let's go to a therapist. Let's go to a life coach. Let's take a healthy communications for couples class, or each of us could take our own healthy communication class and then share what we did together, because it's just a skill. You know what I mean? It's just a skill set. It's just you learn how to communicate in a healthy way, or you learn how to communicate in unhealthy ways. That's really all it is. It's just a skill set. Do you have the skill set to be able to bring up a problem that doesn't blame the other person, that isn't defensive? Do you have the skill set? It's just a skill set. So you can learn it. You can take classes on healthy communication. You can take classes on non-defensive communication, so that every time you have a conversation with your partner that might be a difficult or unpleasant conversation, it doesn't lead to a fight. It doesn't lead to an argument. It doesn't lead to them ignoring you or any of those other unhealthy red flags. And that's why I think communication is such a great area, because a lot of times issues and problems can look like red flags, or red flags can be dismissed as, well, that's just how they are. That's just how it is. I don't want to rock the boat. I want to be a peacekeeper. Maybe I'm being too dramatic. Maybe it's not that big of a deal. I think when it comes to communication, it's very, very easy to confuse the two and also to make a lot of excuses. So I think it just really goes down to the willingness of your partner to hear what your problems are, and then the willingness of both of you to get help and to learn those communication skills. Hey, Shrinkin' Sharon. Hey, sweetheart. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so let's see here. Hey, Sharon. Okay, so Ms. T says, give an example of a couple that displays good communication and poor communication. Okay. All right, let's see if I can think of one on the spot. All right, so I would say, okay, good communication. Hey, babe, I've noticed that when I initiate texting with you, it takes you a couple of days, or sometimes you just ignore my texts, and it's starting to make me feel really disrespected. I don't want to pretend that I can read your mind or know what's going on. So is there a particular reason why you ignore my text or you don't get back to me for a long period of time? So I think that might be a good communication, because you're citing a specific example. You're saying, well, I notice when this happens. I know that when I initiate texting or talking to you, sometimes, you ignore it or you take days to get back. So you're giving an actual specific example of what is wrong. And then you're not blaming the other person. You're not saying you are disrespecting me when you, so poor communication would be, why are you ignoring me? Why are you so disrespectful? I know you have somebody else on the side, whatever, right? So poor communication is assuming you know what's going on with the other person, accusing the other person of something, and not having the space for an open dialogue. So the good communication was, this is the specific example. When I initiate contact with you, it takes you, a couple days. Sometimes you ignore me. And then you say, it makes me feel. So you're sharing with your partner what your feelings are, not what you think that they are doing. You're not saying what their intentions were. You're not blaming them. You're not being defensive. You're just saying, when this happens, it makes me feel disrespected. You're giving a concrete example. You're sharing what your feelings are. Because remember, feelings aren't facts. So the fact that you feel disrespected because you feel the way he's treating you is disrespectful doesn't mean that his intention was to be disrespectful. So feelings aren't facts, but you want to share what your feelings are so you can let your partner know how their actions are affecting you. And then you open it up for a healthy dialogue. I'm not a mind reader. I don't want to assume, why it's taking you so long to get back to me. But I just wanted to let you know how I was feeling. And I would love your input. Why does it take you that long to get back at me? Is there something else going on? Is there anything you want to talk about? So you're opening it up to a discussion. You're not blaming them. You don't want to hash it out. You don't want to argue, but you're being very clear. This very specific behavior makes me feel this very specific way. I'm not assuming I know why. I am open and ready to talk about it and to have a dialogue. Maybe his answer is, oh, it could be as simple as, oh, well, I talk to you all the time. So when you hit me up, I'm busy. I don't think it's a big deal to get back to you. I know that you're going to follow up, the next day or a couple hours. I'm going to see you or whatever. I didn't even realize that me not getting back to you in that time frame made you feel this type of way. Because you have to remember that everybody's awareness isn't the same as yours. So him not texting you back in a certain amount of time to him might not be that big of a deal. And if you are passive aggressive, if you're fearful of saying anything, you might not communicate back to him. So another example of poor communication. So like say him not texting you back in a certain amount of time really pisses you off and you feel really disrespected. Poor communication could be, oh no, it's cool. It's fine. Whatever. No big deal. It's whatever. Do you. It's fine. It's fine. Denying what your feelings are. Because that poor communication will lead to resentment, and it will lead to having a bigger fight over something smaller, or being paranoid, or being unhappy when you don't really need to be. So poor communication is assuming and jumping the gun. You're disrespecting, like I know, like you're being so disrespectful by not texting me back. Why aren't you texting me back? Who are you with? What's her name? Who is she? Why do you think you can disrespect me like this? So that's poor communication. That is assuming and attacking and being very defensive. Also poor communication, pretending like your feelings don't matter or that you don't have your feelings. Nah, it's cool. You can hit me back whenever. It's cool. No, it's fine. Yeah, whatever. It's cool. That's also very poor communication. So have a clear example of what it is that is bothering you. Clearly communicate how that makes you feel. And then what is the ask? Well, the ask is, let me know what's going on. Why does it take you that long to text me back? Are there any things you want to talk about? What's going on? Let's talk about this. So that's what I would kind of say just on the fly. I hope that was helpful. So let's see what you guys are saying. Miss T says, damn days. Peace Love says, I used to always assume, not good at all. Yes. Okay. So let me tell you about assuming. That is also rooted in past trauma. You know, and trauma could just, someone cheating on you is trauma. That's a traumatic experience. Someone not liking you back is trauma. Like those are still traumas. So like I use big T traumas and little T traumas, but it's rooted in a past trauma. And what I just mean by that is like a past pain. So for example, right, it's like, let's use the same example. So if your guy or girl, whatever, isn't texting you back, that reminds you, triggers you of a past pain where you felt ignored, you felt less than, you felt abandoned, rejected, all of those things. So you assume that this pain that I'm feeling must be caused by what caused the pain before. And what caused the pain before? Maybe it was abandonment. Maybe it was neglect. Maybe it was a partner who cheated. Maybe it was a parent who wasn't there for you. You know, maybe it was a friend who betrayed you or whatever it is. So we assume things because that feeling is familiar. And then the reason why we deny our feelings. So in the other example where it's like, no, it's cool. Hit me back whenever. No big deal. We do that rooted in the same trauma and pain because we are afraid that if we are honest, that if we are truthful, that person will leave us. It's really attached to the abandonment wound, that somehow saying what we need, saying how we feel will be off-putting to the other person. They'll think you're needy. They'll think you're clingy. They'll think you're desperate. They'll think you're crazy. They'll think you're too dramatic. They'll think you're being too sensitive, and they'll leave. Your needs won't get met. They'll leave you. They'll abandon you. So we deny and suppress our own feelings, our own wants and needs, because there's a part of us that thinks that they won't get met. So it's easier to pretend like you're cool. It's cool. I don't need you to respect me. I don't need you to text me back in a respectful manner. It's cool. It's cool. I'm so cool. Because it's easier to pretend like we don't care. It's easier to deny and suppress than it is to say, wow, I feel really disrespected when you do this. And it's also, denying that is also a lot easier than thinking, Well, maybe my needs and wants aren't going to be met, or they won't be met, or they're not being met. So it's all just a defense mechanism. It's our body, it's our mind trying to protect us from feeling pain or hurt. But the truth is, when you have that healthy communication, when you're able to honor and self-validate, because you can validate your own emotions and feelings. You can say, when this person doesn't text me back, I feel disrespected, and that is okay. You can validate your own self. Even if it's not that person's intention, it's a totally valid feeling to feel disrespected when someone doesn't get back to you. It's rude. It's rude. It's a totally valid feeling to have. So you can validate your feelings and you can validate yourself while also having healthy communications with others. So understanding their intention and where they're coming from doesn't negate how your feelings being valid. Because just because your feelings aren't facts, it doesn't mean that they're not valid. It doesn't mean that that's not how you feel. So that's a lot that goes into it. Okay, so let's see what else. And if you guys have any other questions or want any other examples, put it in the chat box. Yes, yes, yes. And said, and let that be the last time you bring that up. Exactly. Don't make me tell you that twice. You know what? That's another good red flag. If you have to constantly remind someone of your worth, of your value, of respect, of not being wishy-washy, of not being hot and cold, of your boundaries and your standards, that's a red flag. Have those conversations when they happen with the clear examples and everything. And if that person, and of course people might slip up here and there, but we all know what is just a innocent slip up versus someone continuously disrespecting you. If you text or call someone, you deserve a text or call back in a timely manner. Ain't nobody out here Barack Obama. Like, that's what I always kind of think about. I'm like, no one is too busy, too stressed, too this, too that, or whatever, to give someone else common decency. If Barack can make Michelle feel amazing and great, whoever you're with can make you feel amazing and great. You see what I'm saying? So yes. Hey, Black Diva 62. She goes, hi, Candy and everyone. Hey, Young Rich. She goes, hey, oh my God, am I late? Was taking a nap. Oh, it's okay, sweetie. You're here now. You're here now. Yes, yes, yes. Misty says people make time for what they want. Exactly. If someone is constantly making you an option, be out. You are always a priority. Of course, in life, people have to prioritize in certain things, but you need to be a priority while people are prioritizing things in their life. Not an option. Never be an option. I don't do last minute. I don't do late night. No, sis. No, sis. You are worth so much more than that. You are a priority. You are not an option. And if someone isn't treating you as such, it is their loss, and you get out and you find someone who will. Make yourself the priority. Let's see. What's another red flag? Love bombing. We talked about that. Okay. They try to isolate you. They don't respect your boundaries. What's another one? Oh, they're secretive. If someone is super secretive, and this is also tied to financial abuse. They're two different things, but they're kind of tied together. If someone is very secretive, like if you don't know a lot about them or what they're saying about themselves isn't adding up, you don't want to be with a dirty John. You don't want to be with a con artist. You don't want to be with a dirty John. You don't want to be with someone who's out to set you up for the okie doke. So if someone is very secretive, if their history doesn't make sense, if you're catching them in lies, red flag. You don't want a con man. You don't want a dirty John. Also, financial abuse. We need to talk more about this. Financial abuse goes a couple of ways. One is Does your partner control all your finances? Are you on an allowance? Do you not have access to bank accounts? Do you not have access to cash? Is your name not on the deed of the house, on the titles of the cars? Are you 100% financially dependent on your partner? Now, I know that sometimes if someone is a housewife or if someone is a house husband, whatever the situation is, and the other person is the breadwinner, do you have visibility into the finances? And do you have independent access? Like, do you have a joint account with your name on it so you can go in and get money? And in those situations, always make sure that you still have your own. And I'm going to say this again. If you are a housewife, a kept woman, whatever it is, if you are a house husband, a kept man, whatever it is, always make sure you have your own certificate of deposit, your own savings accounts, your own credit cards, your own, just your own nest egg, your own money that is just for you, that you are saving up and you're putting it away and you're putting it away in your own nest egg, because you never want to get to the point where you wake up one day and that person decides that they are done and out and you are left high and dry with no money. Happens every day. Housewives thinks they have it all going on until their rich husband wakes up and says, I'm leaving you for the nanny. I'm leaving you for this thought on Instagram. I'm leaving you for the pool boy, whatever the situation is. So don't trust your partner, but trust no one fully. Just God. I'm telling you, the only person you can trust 1,000% is God. Trust no man, no woman, no person fully. So you can be in love, you can have trust in a relationship, but have your own. So if anything ever goes down, you're not out here, on the street, couch surfing from friend to friend. You have your own, so you can go out there and you can get your own apartment. You can get your own car. You have your nest egg and you have your money. Don't ever rely on someone 1,000% for your livelihood and your money. If you know what I mean, if your husband or boyfriend, whoever it may be, pays all the bills, has all the money, sis, figure out a way to cipher some money and have your own. You never, ever want to be 1,000% dependent on someone financially. If he buys you bags or whatever it is, take it back to the store, exchange it for some money, put that money in an account. What's her name? Shaquille O'Neal's wife. Shawnee's problematic, but she's really smart. She got the houses and property and real estate, and she didn't put in her name. She put, I think, in like her mom name or something like that. So when they got divorced, it was 100% hers, even though it was in somebody else's name, so that was really smart too. Get some property that's only in your name, or finagle it some way, whatever it is, because you never ever want to be fully dependent on someone else for your livelihood, because people wake up every day and change their mind. You could be crazy in love one day and drunk in love the next. Do you know what I mean? So never trust someone 1,000% like that. Always have a nest egg, because financial abuse happens. Financial abuse is when someone controls you through money, whether they give you an allowance and that's the only money that you get. You don't have access to other money. You don't know where the money comes from. You don't know where the money goes. And this also goes the other way. Sometimes you are the breadwinner and you're making the money, but the other person controls it. I've heard stories, because I listen to a lot of true crime. So I heard stories how the wife or the husband was making the money, but the spouse was the one controlling it. It would get direct deposit into their account and they would hash it out. So they weren't even the ones making the money, because abuse, no matter what, is always about control. So if one person is controlling access to something, that is abuse, whether it's finances, whether it's controlling, like if they're like withholding like intimacy, or they're withholding affection or love, if they are ignoring you, it's all about control. So you never want to be in a position with someone where you're being financially abused. So be mindful of that as well. Let's see what you guys are saying. Yes, yes, yes. Julie says, so having a support network is vital. Yes, that's another thing. Make sure you have a good support system. If you have a great family, that is good. Have a support system with your family members. If it's not your family, friends, or friends and family, if you can do it, but have a support system. Have somewhere you can go, have someone you can talk to. Always, always, always have your own nest egg. Ideally, try and do it the way Shawnee did, where I know this is going to sound trifling, but I don't care. Try and do something the way Shawnee did, where you have some type of investment or property or offshore account or whatever, where when the divorce, or if you do get divorced, they can't take half of it. I do believe in like shared property or whatever, but I think also I believe in, I love men too, that's great, but particularly for women, try and have something that can just be yours. Whether you're married, whether you're not, whether you're a kept woman, whether you're a working woman, just try and figure out a way to have some type of financial stability that is just for you. That there's no legal loophole, that they can't try and take half of it, the way, like right now what's happening with, what's her name? The singer, Kelly Clarkson. How her husband, who was her manager as well, and he had allegedly stole all this money from her, but now that the divorce is happening, she's having to pay him alimony every month, like $200,000 or something ridiculous. You know, she is having to pay him. Kenya Moore, shout out to Roa. Kenya Moore and Mark Daly. He's going for half of everything she has, even more manner before they were even together. He's going for half of her stuff. She had all that established before she ever even met him. And he's going for half. So I just think as women, we always need to protect ourselves, have some form of financial stability for ourselves that they cannot touch or get half of. Get a good lawyer who you know 1,000% is on your side. You know what happened with Steve Harvey, where his ex-wife got a lawyer, but the lawyer was Steve allegedly basically was paying the lawyer to give her bad advice and all this stuff. So you have to be really careful, especially with who you trust and all that stuff. So you have to be really, really careful. Hey, Big Red. He goes, Lord, Candace, so happy I finally caught alive. Yay. Hey. Hey, Big Red. Yes. Hey, Double T says, gross. I know. You have to be really careful. Hey, Just Crazy. Hey, Peace Love. She goes, just crazy. That's right. Because you know what? This goes back to, you really have to be careful for two things. Be very, very careful who you marry, and be extremely careful with who you have children with. Because those are two things that will follow you for a very long time. And those are two things that can really ruin you. Be very, very careful with who you marry, and especially with who you have children with. Because that can make your life a living hell. Hey, Young Rich, was one thing I can't stand is withholding intimacy. Exactly. If you don't like to kiss and love on me, why am I even with you? I'm going to feel like I'm not attracted to you, or vice versa. I'm telling you, withholding intimacy is, I don't know what to call it, but it is a form of abuse. I don't know, maybe it's emotional abuse, but withholding intimacy is a form of abuse. The silent treatment, that is a form of abuse. That is a very, very toxic form of poor, unhealthy communication. I mean, you look it up. The silent treatment, we think, oh, well, I'm just going to ignore him. I'm just going to ignore her. And then that's going to make them come chasing back to me. It is a very slippery slope from taking time to cool. Like, this is how I think you should do the silent treatment in a healthy way. Say you and your partner are in a fight, or something is up, and it's just whatever the situation is. One of you needs to cool down. You need to communicate that up front. Hey, babe, X, Y, and Z went down. I need some time to cool off. Give me a couple of days. Let me cool off. Then we'll come together and we'll talk about this. Boom, boom, boom. That way, you are giving that person a heads up. They understand, or they're giving you a heads up, whichever way it goes. Hey, I need some time. This isn't indefinite. I need to cool off. We have a plan to talk later. Because sometimes a cooling off period is good and a cooling off period is needed. But when someone just cold turkey gives you the silent treatment or ignores you, that is the worst. And it's literally, it's all of the triggers. It's all of the triggers. It's I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. You're leaving me. You're abandoning me. You're rejecting me. I'm not attractive. All of those things. The silent treatment is very, very, very unhealthy, extremely unhealthy. And it's a very slippery slope with that. So be very careful with that one. Yes, yes, yes. Miss T says, ID channel can teach you things. Girl, I listen to a lot of true crime and I'm just like, okay. Maybe the single life ain't so bad. Cause these true crimes, like they found her in the trunk of a car. Like, it's like, oh, no. Like maybe the single life is looking good. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Hey, Deborah. She was, my grandma always says a woman's bank account is her freedom. Exactly. Never let anyone control all of your finances. And you don't, and that's another thing. Don't tell them you have it. Don't, on mad day, don't be like, oh, well, I have my own money and I have my own bank account, so I don't need you. Nope, don't do it. You keep it a secret. Zip it up. You don't tell your spouse about your side money, because if you then divorce, they're going to be looking for that money, or they might use that money over your head or whatever. That money is for you. On mad day, don't tell them about it. You keep that money for you. You see what I'm saying? You always need to have a contingency plan, a plan B. Never be 1,000% financially dependent on anyone. Just don't do it. Okay, let's see another red flags. Okay, if they cancel plans, if there are no shows, if they're unable to, if they have an inability to apologize or take accountability, big narcissistic moves, big narcissistic tendencies. So you really have to watch out for that. If someone is unable to apologize or take accountability for when they messed up, because we're all human beings, we all mess up here and there. But if they're not able to say I'm sorry and I take accountability, that is a huge, huge red flag. Let's see another one. Expect you to sacrifice. They're secretive. Oh, this is a big one. We always say like, oh, bipolar, right? It's kind of like a buzzword that we use. Oh, wait. Shrikin Sharon says, I love investigation discovery. Yes, me too. I'm like, I don't want to end up in a ditch. Hey, Ms. T, an apology without true change is just manipulation. Exactly. And that's what we were saying before. Exactly, Ms. T. Do their words sync up with their actions? So if they are apologizing, if they're taking accountability, if they're saying that they know how they're treating you is wrong or whatever, but then there is no true change, if their actions are not different, that is another big red flag. Because if someone isn't willing to do the work to change, it's just a stalling tactic to keep you stuck and to keep you where you are. Let's see what Young Rich is saying. Young Rich says, I always feel like I want a relationship, but then when I start to get serious, I tend to figure out a way to run them off or run off with someone else like today. So I just stay single. Well, to me, Young Rich, that sounds more like you needing to do your own inner work. Because if you want the relationship, but then when you get the relationship and it gets serious and you get cold feet and you either, sounds like you're sabotaging it, right? And trust me, I have been there. I know this. I didn't sabotage my relationships, but I would preemptively date people who I knew it would not get to a serious level, if that makes sense. Like, I would say I wanted a relationship, but the partners I would choose, in the back of my mind, in my subconscious mind, I knew it was an expiration date. I knew this wasn't an actual viable partner. So I was self-sabotaging out the gate. So when you say this, I know exactly what you're doing. I know exactly how you feel. And I would just say, That to me sounds like an inside job. And I don't think that it's necessary that you need to stay single. I think it's that you need to work on yourself to get into that place that we were talking about before, that place to receive love and to know that you are worthy and deserving of it, because there's a part of you that is scared, and there's a part of you that doesn't feel worthy and deserving, and there's a part of you that is just it's scared, and maybe it's like, new territory. I don't know what the personal situation is. So for that, I would say work with a life coach, work with a therapist, work with a counselor, just work on yourself, get really good with you. What was your childhood like? What have your adult patterns been like? What scares you about being in a relationship? All of those things. And just really work on your self-love and your self-esteem and your self-confidence, that when you get into that good place, being in a serious relationship won't scare you, and you won't you won't sabotage it anymore, but it'll be the natural next step for you in your life. I feel like that for me, I'll be totally I'm always honest with you guys. I think only in the last couple of years, I would say, thank you, COVID, for putting a kibosh on that. But only in the last couple of years do I think that I was actually in a good place to be a good partner to someone else, because I was so good with me. So I did the work to work on myself. I still do the work to work on myself. But I was just like you, Young Rich. I would say I wanted a relationship, but then date kind of F-boys, this, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Then I would eventually, it would just fizzle out. I'm going to be back to being single. Totally. That is way more normal than you would think. A lot of women, a lot of people are like that. But it's just about healing ourselves first, so that we don't run away from things that are healthy. Because that's another thing. When you don't know what a healthy relationship looks like, when you're conditioned by unhealthy relationship dynamics, healthy relationships then seem foreign to you. And so you want to go back to what feels normal. You go back to what feels familiar. If you are in a relationship and you're like, oh, this is boring, there's no drama, that's a big red flag that maybe you need to do some more trauma healing. If what feels normal and familiar to you is roller coaster relationships, struggle love, hot and cold, up and down, on and off, not being respected, fighting for your respect, all of those things. If that is what feels familiar and normal to you, then that is what you will subconsciously seek out. And then when you do get into a healthy relationship where it's consistent, where it's healthy, where it's happy, where, it is boring at times, but it should be a good boring, right? That will seem foreign to you. So you will sabotage it, because sounds weird, but your mind and your subconscious wants to be right, and it wants to get back to the familiar. That's why the work that you do, what you're really doing is you're just reprogramming and you're reconditioning your subconscious mind. That's really what it's doing. Because when you self-sabotage on any level, it's a subconscious thing. You don't go into for example, when I would date guys that I knew weren't the right fit for me, I wasn't doing it consciously. I wasn't like, I'm going to go self-sabotage my relationships. No, it was subconscious. I was subconsciously doing it. I wasn't aware that I was doing it. Only now, because I've worked on myself and I have the self-awareness, can I look back and be like, oh yeah, well, I was self-sabotaging because of X, Y, and Z. I was replaying this, and this. So it takes that awareness and working on yourself. But when you work on yourself, you're really just reconditioning your subconscious mind to default to healthy conditioning rather than unhealthy conditioning. And that's really what it is. So Young Rich, I understand you 100%. I don't think it's that you need to stay single. I think you might need to be single right now while you work on yourself, but don't think that you aren't capable of having a healthy relationship. Don't think that you aren't deserving and worthy of having a healthy relationship, because you are. And that's another thing that trauma does to us. It makes us believe that somehow we aren't capable or worthy or deserving of love in a healthy way. A lot of times, if you experience any type of trauma, big trauma, little trauma, you think that somehow you're broken or you're not good enough. And that's just not true. No matter what has happened to you or what hasn't happened to you, you deserve love, healthy relationships, and you are capable of it. You might have to work on it a little bit more. You might have to be a little bit more diligent. You might have to get a little bit more help, but you are capable of it. But that is what that fear is. It's the fear of, I'm not worthy and deserving of a healthy relationship. Somehow I'm not good enough. Somehow I'm broken. Somehow I'm unlovable. So I'm going to choose men that I already know this isn't going to work out with, because that's a very easy excuse to be like, it's them. It's them. It is their fault. I was dating this guy. He was this, and this. It didn't work out because of them. It gives me, you, whoever, an easy out for when the relationship doesn't work. I can easily blame the other person rather than looking in the mirror and being like, well, why did you choose that person? Because at the end of the day, our relationships are just a reflection of where we're at in our own growth. So it's easy to have that default of, it's them. They're messed up. They're F-boys. They're this, they're that, da-da-da-da-da. Then looking in the mirror and being like, well, Candy, why did you choose this person? Did you choose this person because you were fearful that you weren't deserving of someone who was on a different level? Did you choose this person because you were fearful of being abandoned and not chosen or neglected? So you chose someone that you knew you could make a scapegoat? You know, so you really have to think about that stuff. Let's see here. Hey, B.
Hi, Candy. I thought I would call in. I have a question. It's a bit of a long one, so I thought I'd give you a call to ask it instead.
Yeah, go for it.
So, I've mentioned the toxic ex that pops up. Whenever I start to do really well, he turns up. It's literally been 2 years. And then out of the blue, he's like, hi. I'm like, no, go away. So my question is, so as you're working, I'm like trying to do all the good stuff, like regular counseling, trying to journal daily, all of that stuff. So what are your tips on dealing with distractions when they come up? Because unfortunately, the world hasn't stopped because I want to work on myself.
No, exactly. Well, I think this is a great question because you're 100% right. The world does not stop because you're working on yourself. You're working on yourself in order to better deal with the world. You know? So I would say this. I would say, I know in my personal journey, sometimes when I would like slip up or like whatever slip up means, like whatever that means to anybody. And I would kind of get frustrated with myself. And I'd be like, well, I'm doing all this work on myself. I have all this progress. Why is this situation still showing up? Why is this still happening, right? Which is kind of what's happening with you. You're doing all this great work on yourself, but this toxic ex is still popping up. I take that as the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, giving you an opportunity to meet that situation with your new level of grace for yourself, with your new level of consciousness, with your new level of awareness, and with the new tools that you have that you've been working on yourself. So I look at it as, this isn't popping up because I'm not actually making progress, or I'm not in a good place, or I'm not really healing, or I'm not doing enough to work on myself. I look at it as, this is an opportunity to show up differently in this situation.
So basically it's a test to see if I'm still stupid.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, this is the thing. I mean, we all kind of want that rom-com fantasy where you have the ex who was the bad boy, you have the tumultuous breakup, you go off, you get your glow up, and he comes back with red roses, and you sail off into the sunset, right? I'm not saying that never happens, but it also has to be very, very clear about how you're different now. And it also has to be very clear about how he's different now. Like, he can't show up and be the same person to you, the same way you can't show up and be that same person to him. So if he's popping in just to see if he still has access, like, I don't know what the exact situation is, then ignore, not respond. Like, at the end of the day, in your gut, you know what to do. So I would talk to your counselor about it. I would meditate on it. I would journal, but I wouldn't let it deter you. And I wouldn't let it, what's the word I'm looking for? Not defeat, but I wouldn't let it
dishearten.
Yes, exactly. I wouldn't let it dishearten you either. I would really just look at it as, wow, I am doing all this work. I am in such a good place. Of course, I'm being tested right now, because the student is always tested when they're ready to go to the next level. So think about it that way. Anytime you're ready to go to the next level in your life, whether it's romance, whether it's your personal relationship to yourself, whether it's finances, whatever bucket you're talking about, you will always be tested, because you are always tested to make sure that you are ready to go to the next level of your life.
Yeah.
So just look at it as, this is my test to see if I'm ready to go to the next level.
It's just very irritating. I blocked him.
Very irritating.
I blocked him on my phone. Then he emailed me. Then I changed my email address, and now he's found me on LinkedIn, Candy. It's crazy.
Okay, he sounds like a stalker. Like, do you need like a restraining order? Like, this is crazy. Like, this might be crazy.
Yeah, it's a weird situation. And then I think, oh my God, is he calling me because something could be terribly wrong? Like, would I be a horrible person just to ignore him? And then I'm like, no, he's still a dickhead, I'm sure. Oh no, I don't want to get you demonetized.
No, you're okay. I already said the F word, so we're fine.
Okay, fine.
Well, this is the thing. Like, as we work on ourselves, we have to make sure that we are making our own well-being our first and best priority at all times. So if someone is coming into your space where you've made it very clear you don't want him, you've blocked him on things, you've changed your email, whatever, the case may be, you're making it very clear that this person is no longer welcome to participate in your life. So now that he's come back in it and he's disrupting it, you need to do what is best for you, not him. Your well-being and how you feel is your first and best priority. So if his energy is messing you up, block him. You don't owe anyone your peace. And if he's being this intrusive, and if he's being this persistent, and if he's a D-head the way you said it, you haven't been in contact for years, I would block him and keep living your best life and keep glowing up. That's what I would do. And just keep glowing up. Because that's the reason why he's coming back to you, is because you're shining so brightly. You're shining so brightly. He had no choice but to be drawn back to you. He had no
I'll take that. I will
like
take
a moth
that, Candy.
to a flame. Like a moth to a flame. He was drawn to you. So just take it as, wow, I am really glowing up. Of course I'm being tested because I'm about to go to a whole new level in my life. Of course he's coming back to me, because who wouldn't miss this? Who wouldn't want this?
That. I'll take it. I'll take it. Thanks, Candy. I'm cancelling my therapy. I'm just going to call into your sessions once a week. How about that?
No. Do both. Do both. No. That's the real glow up. You do the therapy and then you do the supplemental stuff.
Thanks for your awesomeness, Candy. You're
welcome. Thanks for calling in.
I'll stay in the chat. I'll be in the chat.
Okay. Thank you, B. And keep blowing up, and don't give him any energy.
Yay. Thanks, Candy. Bye.
Welcome, sweetheart. Bye. Yay. That was fun. Let's see. So Young Rich is saying, that's true. I turned into the red flag after putting up and accepting any and everything. Exactly. Young Rich says, block him, B. I'm going through that now. They always pop up whenever you're happy. Yeah, they do. I'm going through it too. We're all going through it. And you know why we're all going through it? Is because we all are on this collective glow up. So B, I understand you 1,000%. The guy that I used to date pre-pandemic and then during pandemic, I broke up with him. And ever since the breakup, he pops in like every 4-6 weeks. There'll be like a little pop-in check-in. So I'm taking my own advice and I'm ignoring him. So yes, it's just a good sign that you are glowing up. Peace Love says, LOL, great advice, Candy. Yay, yes, yes, yes. Hey, beautiful bee. Yay. She goes, I'm on. Okay. So let's see any more red flags. If your family and friends don't like him, but this one again, use your discernment, because sometimes, especially when it comes to family and friends, sometimes family and friends just aren't supportive. Sometimes, is it a jealous friend? Is it a jealous family member? So use your discernment. Consider the source. Is this a friend that truly loves you and has your back? Is this a family member that truly loves you and wants the best for you? If it's a family member that you really trust, or a friend that you know is your ride or die, and they're getting vibes from this person and they're not co-signing, take that into consideration. Of course, it's always your choice in your relationship, but take that into consideration if it is a person who you know has your best interest in mind. Sometimes you'll have family and friends who just don't want to see you with anybody, or they don't want to see you have a come up. So use your discernment, consider the source. Always do that. Okay, and let's see another one. They don't take accountability. Oh, this is the one I was going to say. I know we use the buzzword bipolar all the time, right? We always use the buzzword, up and down, bipolar, all over the place. But I don't want to call anybody bipolar. I'm not a doctor. I don't want to diagnose anyone. But if your partner or the person that you're dating has unstable moods, if they're unpredictable, if they fly off the deep end, if they have manic behavior, I'm not saying you necessarily need to break up with someone because they're suffering from a mental illness or a mental disability or whatever that is called. But again, it goes back to their willingness to seek help. I do think that is someone who might be suffering from a mental illness, whether it's being bipolar or depression or anxiety or maybe mood swings or something like that. They are still deserving and worthy of love. Of course. And they too can have healthy and happy relationships. Of course. So I'm not saying you need to break up with someone just because they are suffering from a mental illness, but you have to check, are they willing to get help? Are they willing to go to therapy? Are they willing to take medicine if it's a chemical thing? Are they willing to communicate with you with stuff like that? You need to always check and make sure that they are willing to get help if you notice this unstable behavior. And if they're not, then you need to leave, because your safety and well-being is super important. And even if they are, but it's not working, they're not stable, I hate to say it, but if you don't feel safe, you can leave. Hey, To Be Native, what is up?
Hi, baby girl.
Hi, how are you?
I miss you.
Look at your hoops.
Oh, you see hoops like my hoops.
Yes.
One day I'll get some makeup on eventually.
You look beautiful. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I just got through sharing with the ladies my age about my niece. Now, I'm an only child and I lost my mother last year.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And my oldest sisters, I was trying to bond with her daughters because me and my oldest sister were never close. So therefore, me and her children were never close. So I have this niece. She's only 12 years younger than me.
Wow.
So she turned 50 this year. However, I guess since let's see, my oldest sister, her mother died in 2012, and my younger sister died in 2017. From 2005 to 2017, I lost all my siblings, my two brothers and my two sisters. Ooh. And I'm the baby, so I felt like I was forced into a matriarchal process, so to speak. And so my oldest niece, the one that's only 12 years younger than me, she had this habit of, I need $7 to take the baby to the preschool. I need it for this. I need money to get my car fixed. And this started after my other sister died.
Okay.
And in fact, the day that my oldest sister died, her mom actually told her no. And they were talking on another platform about saying no to people. And one thing I do not do, Candy, is I do not loan money. I will never loan money. If you need $150 and I have $150 to give you, I'll just give it to you. Mm-hmm. But the chronic dry begging, you know what dry begging is? Judge Mathis talks about dry begging. When people say, I can't get to work because my car, they won't just come out and ask you for the money, but they dry beg so that you offer. So she was doing a lot of that dry begging stuff. And I was, going along with it because I'm trying to establish relationships, right? But you have to know when enough is enough and that somebody's using you. You're not establishing a relationship if they're using you.
Yeah.
So it was funny. I thought she turned 50 last year. I got confused on her birthday. I know her birthday is around Mother's Day, and actually this year her birthday was actually on Mother's Day. But,
oh, wow.
Last year I knew it was her birthday because I know her birthday. She's a Taurus. She's born on May 9th. So I sent her some money for her birthday. She was so surprised. She said her other auntie sent her money and blah, blah, blah. And she was so excited. And, granted, my mother just passed away, right?
Yeah.
She passed away on April 23rd, 2020. So I'm still grieving over my mother, but I took time to send her a birthday gift. And a month after I sent her the birthday gift, she said she did the dry begging thing with the car. So I sent her another $150. And she kept saying, I'm going to give it back to you. And I said, oh, don't worry about that. Because I really don't loan money. But she said out of her mouth she would give it back. If you keep saying that, I'm like, well, you need to be responsible and give it back if you feel like you should give it back.
Yeah.
She never gave me back, never called me. My birthday shows up and she don't even say happy birthday, auntie, or anything. Oh. My other niece in New Orleans her and her husband sent me flowers and made me feel special, but I don't get that from my sister's girls. And it's okay, but still, you have to know that it's time to, just maybe not, you can't break off the relationship because she's my niece, but you can say no without saying no. How about that?
Yeah, so, you can enforce healthy boundaries with someone, and you can say no in and this goes back to healthy communication styles. You can say no to someone in a loving and respectful way.
And that's what I did. Yeah. I didn't say anything to her, actually.
Right.
Because she didn't say anything to me. She didn't call me anymore. She didn't say happy birthday. She didn't say Merry Christmas. She didn't say happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Well, here it comes, fast forward a year later, Mother's Day. She sends me a text message, Happy Mother's Day. And believe it or not, because I know her patterns, that was her way of saying, I hope you send me something for my birthday. You have to know your family.
She was planting the seeds.
Mm-hmm,
she was like, oh, it's about to come up time where I can get some money. Let me just throw you.
Her birthday was on Mother's Day, and she wanted a birthday present for Mother's Day.
Breadcrumbs. Let me give you some breadcrumbs right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I sent her a heart emoji back, and she sent me a heart emoji back, and I sent her another heart emoji back, and that was the end of her. I always have love for my family, but that's it. That's how you say no. It's like, no more. I'm not going for the okie doke this time.
No more okie doke. I'm a big fan of thank you but no, I can't do that right now. Thank you, but no, I can't do that right now. And just leave it there. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to justify. It's just, okay, well, thanks, but no, I can't do that right now. Or I understand where you're coming from, but I'm just not in a place to do that right now. And a place or position doesn't mean you don't have it. It just means mentally, spiritually, and energetically, you're just not in a position to let someone use you.
And that was the key. I wasn't going to let her use me anymore. And I didn't feel like I needed to explain anything to her.
Yeah, you don't have to apologize. You just say, I'm not in a position to do that right now. I'm not in a position. And by position, you just mean energetically and spiritually, I'm not in a position to allow anyone to use me. Doesn't mean you're saying you don't have it.
Right.
Just because you have it doesn't mean you have to give it. It is yours.
You have to give it. Exactly. And I don't want that my relationship with my nieces to be built on, I love you if you give me this. Because some people do that with their children. Yep. And I don't do that with anybody.
It's transactional. It's a transaction. Right. If you pay me, if you give me, then I'll give you attention and love and blah, blah, blah. It's a transaction. Give me affection and attention, but I'm going to have to pay for it.
Exactly.
Which is the opposite of unconditional love,
and that's what I get from my other niece, my brother's daughter. And we didn't even grow up together, but my brother's daughter treats me like an aunt. You know, she calls and checks on me. And, you know, she did the music for my mother's memorial service that was on Zoom. Aww. And, you know, whenever I need her to do something, she's there for me. And I felt closer to my brother when I finally got to form a relationship with him. He was 18 years old when I finally got a chance to, because he was raised by other people. So, that, you know, life is funny. And you never know who God's
going to be. Life is funny. That's a good, life is funny. Life is funny, but it's also delicious.
It is.
Life is really delicious. Like it really is. Like the ebbs and the flows, the ups and the downs, all of it.
And the people that you think
delicious,
you would never be able to trust, you can trust. And people that you should be able to trust, you can't always trust right away. So just a word to the wise, and I just had to get that out.
Well, I'm happy you got it out. Yes, and thank you for joining us, and you look beautiful. And I'm just so proud of you for knowing your worth and being able to set healthy boundaries with people, because, you know, you being in their lives is a blessing for them. So they need to wake up and realize that.
True. So true.
Yeah. You are the blessing.
Thank you. Thank you, Candy. It was nice talking to you too.
You too. Yes. Always. Always. Yes.
Love you, Candy and Candy Canes.
Yes. We love the Candy Canes. Yes.
I'll go so you can put some other people in.
Oh, whatever. You can hang out. You can go. Bye, sweetheart. Okay. Yay. We love you too, Be Black Native. Let's see. We have been in here for over an hour and a half. So click that like button, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell for the next time we go live. And we'll be doing more self-care sessions. We'll be doing more reality TV recaps and pop culture news. We just cover it all over here in the Candy Shop. We just have a good kiki. We keep it love and light. And I love you guys so much. Peace and Love says, thank you for sharing your story to you, 2B. Yes, thank you for sharing your story. And I love that. I love that our community is a safe place for us to share and to be vulnerable and to talk and know that we will always be respected, seen, heard, and validated. That is what we do in the Candy Shop. That is what we do in our candy community. We hold each other down. That is what we do. We hold each other down. Yes. Young Rich is saying, I've given you some love too. So let's go back to a couple more red flags. And then we can wrap it up. But this has been such a good self-care session. So let's see if there's any ones that I missed. We talked about financial abuse. This is a good one. Hey, CC Salute says, hey, Candy. Hey, sweetheart. So we talked a little bit about making sure that your partner is a partner and is in a good place and is not a project, and that you don't feel like a fixer. But I also wanted to piggyback on that and say, make sure that that person is not seeking their healing through you. So you could think, I want to be a fixer or whatever. That's one way to look at it. But do you want to flip it? Because sometimes when you think you're going to fix someone or you fall in love with their potential or whatever it is, they're not here for it. They're like, I am who I am. I like the way this is. Like, stop trying to make me get a job. Stop trying to make me smoke. Stop trying to make me drink, or stop trying to make me commit. This is who I am. But in your mind, you want to fix, right? But then there's the opposite of that, which is kind of what we touched upon when we were talking about people who work on themselves in order just to get the person back. Be mindful not to be with someone who is seeking their healing through you. As always, what we've talked about, healing is an inside job. I don't mean you do it by yourself. Of course, you have support. You go to therapy. You have your friends and your family, but it's an inside job. You're not looking for somebody else to heal you. So make sure that your partner isn't trying to heal themselves through you. By this, make sure that they're not going through the motions and trying to, it's the exact flip. They're not showing and proving and doing and to be worthy of your love, right? Because that comes from a place of lack. And that goes back to making sure that you're equally yoked in the sense you're in a solid place and they're in a solid place. So make sure that you're not with someone. Thank you so much, B, for the super sticker. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Yay. So make sure that you're not with someone who is seeking their healing through you. I also want to make clear that when I say you're in a good place and they're in a good place, I don't believe, like, there are some people that are like, you need to be totally healed of all your trauma, all your childhood wounds, your inner child. You have to be so self-actualized and so kumbaya before you're ready. No, I don't believe that. What I mean by in a good place, I don't mean that you think that you are, perfect or you are fixed or any of that stuff. No, we are human beings. Therefore, we are inherently always a work in progress. There's nothing called perfection when it comes to being a human being. It's just progression. So when I say in a good place, what I mean is that, are you taking accountability and responsibility for your life? Are you learning tools to be a healthy version of yourself, working on your self-esteem? You're working on your career, if that's what you want to do. You're working on your interpersonal relationships. You're working on yourself. You're working on your self-awareness, on your consciousness. That's what I mean by being in a good place. Because there's no there. There's no moment where you are just like, I am totally blissed out and I communicate 1,000% in a healthy way at all times, blah, 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 blah. That is a delusion. That is an illusion. That is a fantasy, and that does not exist. There will be times where you don't communicate in a healthy way. There will be times where you get triggered. There will be times when you slip up. There will be times when you are just a human being. So when I say that you're in a good place, I do not mean perfect or fixed, because you're not broken. Just because you've been through some stuff, just because you need to work on some stuff, you are not a broken, there's no such thing as a broken human being. We might bend, we might have to work on some stuff, but nobody is broken. You are here. So you can work on yourself, but don't think that you have to fix, because fix means to me that you think that there is something inherently wrong with you. There's nothing inherently wrong with you. You just have to remember who you are, and then you have to work on the tools for yourself. So don't think that when I say in a good place or equally yoked with someone, that means that you are two perfect beings. No such thing as that. So just in case. But yeah. Whew. So I think we went through the majority of them. We've been on here for an hour and 43 minutes, but I will leave you with my last red flag. I may have touched upon it a little bit, but this to me is the most important red flag that you ever can get. If you didn't hear a word I said during this whole session, hear me when I say this. Oh wait, let me read some stuff before I get into the last one. Young Rich says, do you feel like it's a good thing to be picky and have a type? I don't like those words. I don't like picky and I don't like type, because picky to me is a self-judgment. It's almost saying like, I'm picky. It's almost like you're saying that you're kind of like highfalutin, or, you know, kind of shallow, or, you know, like I'm just a picky person. And then have a type, to me sounds like, again, it's almost rooted in like a shallowness. Like I'm just really picky and I have a type. Like the words to me, I don't like the connotation of the words. So I would change it. I would say that I'm clear on what I want, and I have a certain level of standards of who I am seeking in a partner, and I'm clear on the type of life that I want to have. So I would, you know what I mean? Like I would change the intentionality and I would change the wording. So rather being picky and having a type, you are clear on who you are clear on who you want in a partner, and you are clear on the type of life that you want to have. So you're not picky, you're not having a type, but you are clear on those things. You are clear on your standards. You're clear that you want to have a partner that is financially stable. You are clear that you want a partner who is mentally, emotionally stable and healthy. You know, you are clear that you want a partner who is family oriented. You know, you are clear that you want a partner who can respect you and wants to work on having good communication with you. You are clear that you want a partner who honors you, professes you, and publicly displays you. You are clear that you want a partner who shows you off and is proud to have you. You are clear that you want a partner who also wants to build and grow. They also want a home, and they want multiple homes, and they want these types of cars, and they want this type of life. They want joy in their life. They have a relationship with God, if that is something that is meaningful to you. You know, they honor integrity and honesty, and they want to be faithful. They want to be monogamous, if that's what you want. You know, it's not that you are picky and have a type. It's that you are very clear on the life that you want to lead. You are very clear on the life that you are creating and manifesting for yourself. Therefore, you are very clear on the type of partner that you want to share in that life with. So I would switch it, because picky and types are very self-judging. You're not picky. It's not that you have a type. You have clarity. You have clarity on where you are and where you are going, and you have clarity on the type of person that is a partner to create that world that you want. So that's what I would say. Hey, CC Salute, she goes, my thoughts. Okay. In relationships, you have to test the spirit to see if it is real. And the time of struggle, how does your partner handle it? And how do you work through it with your partner? Yeah. But with that, I would say, I am so not a fan of struggle love. But I also know that, like we were saying, all relationships have ebb and flows, up and downs, issues and problems. So I think you have to look at it in its totality. And you're right, test that spirit. Are we having quote unquote normal problems and issues? Or is this relationship struggle? Like, you know what I mean? We have to not normalize struggle love. But yes, you always want to, when your relationship is tested, when there is, you know, a down period, when there is an obstacle, when there is a hard time, of course, because that is life. How does your partner respond? How do they deal with it? How do you work through it with your partner? So that is very true. That is very, very true. Hey, B, she says, I love that you are not broken. No, we are not broken beings. We are divine beings. We just have to remember who we are and know that it is okay to not be perfect. We're not perfect beings. We're divine beings. And those are two very different things. Hey, Miss T, she goes, thanks for all the great comments. Yes. Let's see here. Hey, to be Black Native, because at Young Rich, it is okay to be selective and exclusive in your choices for a partner. Yes. You have to be very clear What attributes do you want in your partner? What are your boundaries and standards when it comes to a partner? And also be very clear on what is the type of life that I want to live. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want struggle love. I know we'll have problems and stuff, but I don't want struggle love. I want effortless. I want ease. I want this, whatever, X, Y, and Z. Like, you know what I mean? Whatever it is. So be very clear and have a vision for your life. And it goes back to kind of what we were talking about before. When you're very clear on who you are and what you want, when anything opposite to that shows up, it's an easy no. Or when that does show up, it's an easy yes. And since you are so clear and confident, you don't self-sabotage like we were talking about before. When you're clear on who you are clear on what you want, and you are clear on where you're going, you don't self-sabotage that much anymore, because we were talking about that. B says, except if your type happens to be F-boys. Exactly. You can say no to the F-boy types. Exactly. Let's see. Oh, show it. Okay. Hey, CC, salute. Normal issues or problem that are not controlled, such as health. Yeah, I agree exactly what you're saying. When you have those normal issues and problems, you're 1,000% right. How does that person show up for you? How do you work through it? Are you a team? Does the person cut and run? Can they not handle pressure? You're exactly right. Under normal issues and problems, you really want to know, how are we going to get through this as a team? And I also think that's a good way to know where you're at in your relationship. Say you guys do hit a hiccup or something happens. Do you think this is going to end us? Or do you think, how are we going to get through this? So, those are two different mindsets. And that can be a good indication of where you're at in your mind or in your relationship. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so for my last one, we kind of touched upon it with Cece. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, beautiful. Is it Cece Salute? Biggest red flag. Your gut, your intuition, your knowingness is telling you that something isn't right. That right there is literally the only red flag you will ever need. When you feel it in your spirit, when you feel it in your gut, when you feel it in your intuition, that something is not right, it is not right. Don't talk yourself into loving someone. Don't talk yourself into thinking they're going to change. Don't talk yourself into thinking that you'll never find anybody else. Don't talk yourself into thinking you have to be in a relationship. Don't talk yourself into thinking that you're crazy, too sensitive, dramatic. Don't talk yourself into denying your feelings or to being numb to what your spirit and your intuition and your gut is telling you. If you feel something is not right, it is not right, and get out. You don't owe anybody a reason or an explanation. If you, in your spirit, if your intuition is telling you something is wrong, it is wrong. I don't care who this person is. It is wrong. And you are allowed to get out of any relationship for any reason. They don't have to cheat. They don't have to be abusive. They don't have to be anything. If you do not want to be with someone, you do not have to be with them. You don't owe that to anyone. People break up every day. People get divorced every day. You are not a slave. You are a human being. And your responsibility, as always, is your own well-being. Sometimes people think, oh, he's a good man, or he's this or he's that, or whatever the situation is, right? If it doesn't feel right, get out. I don't care if he is abusive. I don't care if he isn't. I'm just saying he. It could be a she, whatever the situation is. If it doesn't feel right, and I cannot stress this enough, if it doesn't feel right, it's not right. There are too many people who stay in relationships when they are unhappy, when they are unfulfilled, when they are miserable, or they knew the red flags, or they knew something didn't feel right, and they still stayed. And then they become an ID channel episode. They become a true crime podcast, or they just live an unfulfilled, miserable life. And to me, all three of those things are tragic. Don't be afraid to disappoint someone. It's okay to break up with someone. Don't be afraid to be alone. Don't be afraid to choose yourself, and don't be afraid to follow your intuition and to follow your gut. If it doesn't feel right, it's not right. And this is for any situation out there. I'm not just talking about relationships. If you get into an Uber and something doesn't feel right, get the hell out. If you are at a bar and you meet someone and it doesn't feel right, get the hell out. If you are walking down the street and something doesn't feel right, go down a different way. Hail a taxi, hail a cab. I don't know what you need to do. In any situation that you're in, if you're simply in a room with someone and it doesn't feel right, listen to your gut, listen to your intuition, listen to that voice. That voice is there to protect you and to guide you. And the way you cultivate that voice is doing all of the self-work we talked about. Journaling, going to therapy, working on your self-esteem, working on your confidence, working on your boundaries, working on your standards, meditating, prayer, walking in nature. Because when you get right with you, the person that you trust the most becomes yourself. And then that's how you get discernment. That's how you get to the place where you can hear that whisper that says stop, or that says go, or that says move. But when you are disconnected to your intuition, you miss out on that guidance. You second guess yourself. You put others' feelings and needs before your own. You would rather deny yourself than make somebody else feel a little uncomfortable, or say no to somebody else, or not be a yes person. Or God forbid somebody thinks that you are selfish, or God forbid somebody thinks you're a bitch, or God forbid somebody thinks you're this or that or whatever, right? That is the biggest piece of advice I can give you in life. When something does not feel right, it is not right. And you always have the right and the option to protect yourself and to leave. I don't care what situation you're in. If it doesn't feel right, get out of there. So I know I went on a tangent with that, but I am telling you, I listen to a lot of true crime, ID channel, all the podcasts. You talk to any expert in the field about this, there's always, I had a feeling. Something didn't feel right. All the time. I got a bad vibe from this person. The energy was off. Listen to that. It is trying to tell you something. And usually it's trying to warn you and to protect you. It's a vibe. It's a feeling. It's energy. It's intuition. It's the Holy Spirit. It's your gut. Trust it above all else. And that's why you work on your self-concept, so that you have the discernment to listen to yourself. And then you have the confidence to trust yourself above all else. And when you get to that place, people can no longer gaslight you. People can no longer invalidate your experience. People can no longer manipulate you. People can no longer violate your boundaries and your standards. People can no longer play you. When you are so clear on who you are, and when you are so connected to your own intuition, you can call BS. You can say no. You can push back. You can leave. It's really just about being connected to that intuition. So let's see what you guys are saying. Hey, Ageless Bloom. Hey, she goes, so true, Candy. Yes, it is so true. She says, your gut will let you know. You got to listen to it. You have to listen to your gut. Hey, AL. He goes, I heard you will always disappoint someone. Just don't disappoint yourself. Exactly. Get comfortable with pissing people off. Get comfortable with disappointing other people. It's part of life. It's okay. They'll get over it. Hey, Young Rich, that's true. My problem is I tend to go with looks and how good they are putting it down and ignore the signs. I'm growing, child. This is what, affirm this for yourself. Affirm that I always attract really gorgeous, sexually good, I don't know, like gorgeous, sexually good men who are also like add it all in, who are also like mentally and emotionally mature, who are ready to settle down, who treat me with respect. Like you can have it all. There is this misconception that attractive people who can put it down are a-holes and they'll treat you bad and do all this stuff, and you need to settle for someone who you're not attracted to or whatever it is. You can have sexual chemistry and then also mental and emotional compatibility as well. So claim that. Claim that you have it all. You know, you don't have to sacrifice. And who knows? Like sometimes people who are really gorgeous, if they have poor personalities, they don't look that attractive. And sometimes people who treat you with love and respect, they become more attractive, right? So affirm all of the things that you want. Make a list and add on the list. You want someone who sexual chemistry is bomb. You want someone who looks really good, but you also want emotional maturity, compatibility, communication skills, spirituality, financial abundance, X, Y, and Z, right? Put it all out there because you deserve it all. You know, there are healthy and happy relationships out there where the sex is bomb, but so is the emotional intimacy too. So don't think that you have to sacrifice one or the other. But what I do want to say, Young Rich, is that I love how self-aware and how transparent and how honest you're being. You are growing. The fact that you are acknowledging this is huge. That they say awareness is the first step, and that is so true. Being able to be honest and aware of these are what my patterns are. This is how I self-sabotage. These are the mistakes I'm making. This is what's been going on. Being able to be radically accountable is such a beautiful thing because once you are aware of it, then you are empowered to fix it. But until you, it's like that thing, like until you see it, you can't heal it. But if you're unable to see it or be honest about it or be aware of it, you will always suffer from it. So I applaud you, Young Rich, for being so open and honest. And I think you're on the right path. B says, I want to throw my shoe at you, a word. Yes, yes, yes. B says, yes, at AL, that's a model to live by. It really, really is. Yes. Hey, Young Rich, he goes, like this one guy told me he quit his job, fought the manager, and broke objects. If that wasn't a red flag in it of itself, like he can do that at a job, no telling what else he would do. You know what this is? The great Maya Angelou. When people show you who they are, believe them. And that's just not with how they treat you. It's what we talked about earlier. People are who they are. That's why I was saying you have to be very mindful and conscious about how does this person treat other people? How do they treat the boss, the manager, the waitress, the Uber driver, their parents, their siblings, their friends, strangers, whatever? People are who they are. And you're exactly right. When they show up one way, they will show up that way to you. And the fact that this guy so cavalierly told this to you seems like he didn't have any shame about it. He's telling you who he is. That's another thing. It's like, yes, listen to people's, don't listen to what they say, listen to what they do. That goes in the context of when they promise you things, or if they're, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, I'll be there for you, whatever it is. But listen also to what people say, particularly to what they say about themselves. If someone is tells you like, oh girl, well, like, you know, I'm crazy. Listen, they're telling you that they're crazy. Don't take it, and a lot of times, don't take it as a joke. Don't take it as sarcasm. A lot of times people will tell you exactly who they are, but we want to receive it as if like, oh, they're joking, they're being self-deprecating, they're exaggerating. No way he really meant that. No, they did. You have to really listen to people, because people always tell you who they are. This guy was telling you, I'm a type of person that when I don't get my way, I'm going to quit. I'm going to leave. And I am capable of fighting. I'm capable of fighting people. I'm capable of being aggressive. I'm capable of being violent. And I'm able to break things. I don't care about respect, rules, or structure. He told you exactly who he was. So don't be surprised when he doesn't get his way with you. He's going to do the same thing. Act out, be violent, fight, break things, all of that stuff. He was telling you exactly who he was. And you have to listen to that. When people show you who they are, believe them. And that's another reason why you do not fall in love with potential. You pay attention to who they are in the moment. Don't think, oh, I know he did that, but he'll change, he'll mature, oh, blah, 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 blah. No, he is who he is. That's why when I was talking about equally yoked, that's why you want to find a partner who is in that good place, not going to be or trying to be, but who is already in that good place of working on themselves and all of that stuff. Don't fall in love with potential, because potentiality will always disappoint you. And you also have to make sure, and another thing when it comes to potentiality or dating a project or trying to fix someone, you can't control anybody. And a lot of times people who are in those positions want to be. People change not for anybody else. They change for themselves when they want to change. And just because you think this person should be this way doesn't mean that person does. That's why people are like, stop nagging me, get off my back, blah, 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 blah. Like, if you have to keep telling someone to go get a job, that person doesn't want a job. And it comes to a point where, or if you keep telling someone they have to respect you, they don't want to respect you. Or they have to be faithful to you, they don't want to be faithful to you. And it comes a point in time where you have to accept, this is who that person is. I cannot control anybody else. The person I can control is me. So I'm going to get my stuff and I'm going to get the hell up out of here. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. Young Rich is at bay. Girl, I had to guide him where to put it. But it was good after I stopped teaching him. Young Rich, you crazy. You crazy. Oh, hey, Marcella. Picture Girl says, hey, my candy cane. Speak, girl. Yes. Hey, Marcella. Mwah. Hey, beautiful. 2B Black Native and Young Rich. You guys are cutting it up in the chat box. Hey, Marcella. Hey, Tanisha Hyman. She goes, I love you, Candy. I love you, June. Let's see what you guys are saying. So funny. Oh, Marcella's here.
Hey, girl, I love this topic, and I'm so glad that you, as a young woman, is talking about this, because I just had a relationship segment on my page a couple weeks ago, and I let these women know, if you go out, do it the proper way, go out on 3 dates and ask the important questions. What do you see yourself in 5 years? What do your love life looks like? I mean, but if you got to build a guy and let him grow with you, it's going to be a problem, because while you're still fixing women, we fix ourselves every day. And then you got to take on a man as a project to fix him the way you think he should be. No, you don't want to both be broken vessels. And that's why it's important to be equally yoked. 3 dates will tell you whether this guy is with you to hit it or quit it, or to be with you and build. And like I said, I could have fell in love with a man that worked at Burger King, but I needed somebody who exercised my mind. It's not always how much money they got and what they got. Is that this person is good-hearted. Find out if he loves his mama. That's a very important question, because if a man doesn't respect his mama, he will not respect you.
Yep.
So, I talk about these red flags, and we women, we get confused with lust and love. I mean, this guy can make good love to you. You get up on Monday and go to work, and he tell you he want to lay there.
No.
When I leave out my house, you leave. And I promise you, this happened to a girlfriend. She went to a club and met a guy. She's a lawyer. She brought him home. They made love. Monday came around. He hadn't went home and changed his clothes from Friday night. So when she went to work, she left him there. She locked everything, with her little automatic lock. He left the house and went and got his PlayStation. She came home. He had hooked the PlayStation up to her TV and never changed the clothes that he had on Friday night. So I asked her, I said, well, what are you going to do? Do you know that this guy would not leave her home? And she eventually had to call the cops to get him out. Because, yeah. I mean, it's fine. But then you start looking at him after Friday, you start looking like this. Where do you live?
And also, thank God he wasn't the killer.
Right. And I also told her, girl,
that's a tick
he
in
didn't
the
even
head.
have a car. He rode in your car from the club. How dare you? She said, I was just horny, but I didn't know he was going to stay. See, he made her feel good. So she let him stay on Saturday. She let him stay on, cooked them. And ladies, stop treating men like their husbands. If you start treating them like husbands, they're not going to wife you, because they know you will do everything that he wants. You're going to give it to him, because you've already started washing his drawers. And then, you going to work and you say, well, where did you go today? Why are you asking me where I went today? Well, you didn't go to no job. Where did you go? See, I never had that problem, because when I sit down on that first date, and I said, you have a beautiful smile. What do you like to do? I start sliding in those questions. And when I see that red flag, we don't get to the third date, because I already know you a bum bada, and I ain't got time for that.
Exactly. Wow.
Yes,
your friend needs like her own booty call that she already knows, who is safe, who isn't crazy. So when she has those horny moments, she has a safe person to go to. And then she can focus on dating men, doing the 3 dates or whatever.
Right.
And not taking the hobo home from the club.
But see, her man is her career. And so she just wants those fun times. And then usually the guys she hook up with are other attorneys. And guess what? I told her, what about if you got to argue a case against the person you're sleeping with? I mean, that could very well happen.
Yeah.
Well, she's still not married, and she's lonely. Like when she see all of us then grew up and got married and have children, she doesn't have anything but dogs.
Yeah.
And she said, well, I love my dogs. They're my kids. I said, but they can't talk to your ass.
Does she want that? Because some women don't, but she does.
But you know what?
Change.
Professional, smart, educated women have checklists, and they are so high that you might as well marry Jesus, because every man is not going to hit every box on the checklist.
She needs to go to therapy, because having this like high standard checklist is actually a part of self-sabotage. That's like being a perfectionist is actually self-sabotaging. You don't think of it as that way, but it is. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe there's a part of her that is scared of rejection or being abandoned, or she doesn't think that she's worthy of love or a healthy community or a healthy relationship. So she pretends that these random one-offs is enough and her dog is enough and she's married to her career, because there's a part of her that is scared to heal. And she's scared to look at it.
If she doesn't start dating properly, she's going to end up with a man that is with her because she's an attorney and she has money, and he's going to take everything you got. Yep. He's going to take everything you got because you're going to want this to work so bad.
Mark Daly, Kenya Moore.
Yeah. But, I really thought that Kenya was doing this. I don't like a lot of things Kenya is doing in her divorce right now, and y'all, my husband had surgery today, so I'm exhausted. When I saw your topic, I was like, oh my God, I gotta go give a word.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Yep, women have to give themselves affirmation. You have to love yourself first before you can allow anybody else to love you. Please love yourself. 100%. Wake up every morning and say, thank you, God, for opening my eyes. I will have a good day. I love myself. We have to keep giving ourselves affirmations to survive in this world today, because we're going to end up with people who leech off of us. They don't love us. They know 100%. That what we can do for them. And, one girlfriend, she has a husband who has 5 children, and she only knew about 2 at the time of marriage. And guess what? Most of his money goes to child support, and her money goes to the mortgage. And I told her,
that would have been an annulment. We would have gotten annulled. Nope.
I said, do y'all make love? And she said, yes. And I said, I couldn't make love to him because I would be thinking about the 5 kids. They're under 15. And why didn't you know about this? Why wasn't he honest with you?
Under 15?
Yes, he would get out my house. I don't care. She said, but I'm going to try, and the kids are nice, but I have problems with, his children's mothers. I said, not his children, mama, his baby mama.
Baby mamas.
And they going to run you. And you crazy. And he moved into her house, and this is a Commonwealth state.
And if they're under 15, how long has she been with him?
She's been with him 4 years, and they've been married too.
I need to see everybody's how old these kids are, because it's like the reason why you having a problem with the baby mamas, because he's probably still dipping it and doing it with the baby mamas.
When he ain't got the money, he comes over there and get a honey. Yeah, I be giving a segment. I said, when you're breaking up with your boyfriend, do you feel that y'all should have a one-time love making round before y'all leave? Make love for the last time.
Breakup sex.
No, it's like me and you are not working out, but I do want to make love to you one more time before you leave. Should a woman do that?
I think it depends on why you're breaking up, like what was the dynamic in the relationship and who the guy is. I think it's really a case by case basis.
No, not with me. We breaking up. You might do some tricks that you never did with me, and then I have second thoughts. No, hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back. No more. No, hit the road, Jack. And I just wanted to tell you, I am having a virtual birthday party Sunday at 4 o'clock.
I'm
4
there.
o'clock on my page on Speak with Your Girl Marcella. And I'm invite your viewers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do $150 giveaway. Now I'm going to do
your birthday, Marcella. We should be super chatting you.
Well, what I'm going to do is dress up like different housewives, and y'all have to tell me who it is, and you have to tell me what franchise they at. So then once I go through and dress up, y'all got to type it all in and in order.
Okay.
In order. That means, for example, I'm not going to do Ramona, but if I have the wig on that look like Ramona and I start talking about Ramona, I need a Xanax.
Yeah. And, Pinot Grigio.
Yeah. And so, and I'm going to tell everybody the first one. The first one will be like, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You know who that is?
No.
I'm gonna let the followers tell you. Who am I talking like? Okay, let me give you another clue.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Wait, Dorinda?
No. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? What are your followers?
Someone's saying Queen Tulsa.
Right.
Queen Tulsa.
So everybody got to remember what I said. Queen Tulsa is the number one. And then I'm gonna do some other, and whoever get it in order and by French, I'm gonna do YouTubers, and I'm gonna do housewives, and y'all tell me on whoever get it in. And I'm gonna invite different people up because this is Leo season.
I'm coming up.
God is revealing. I cut your old girl off. I cut your girl. I gotta call you. I cut old girl off.
Oh yeah, you gotta text me. Text me. We'll talk.
I want to have fun. I want to celebrate Leo season.
Yes!
I want to celebrate us,
now,
all the panelists.
Is it 4:00 East time or West time?
Eastern time. Eastern time.
So it's 1:00 my time, 4:00 your time. I'm gonna promote.
Yep, and I want everybody to make it rain because I'm giving a portion of my super chats to the Tidewater kids, Tidewater Friends of Foster Care. And I'm going to give it to them because, school is coming up and I want to help buy supplies. I want to help buy computers for lower income areas. And I do it every year. Yeah. I mean, I give on my own, but and last year I was able to get some of my housewife friends to donate, and they did it. They went out big. Monique Samuels was like the bomb. She gave so much. And so I want to do this and be able to give, and everybody make it rain because I got monetized. I got monetized last week.
Yes, Marcella, we are about to show up and show out.
Okay,
honestly,
so
Marcella,
Sunday,
you've become the queen. She who shall not be named was dethroned, and you have now become the queen. Like, you're the nexus. Like, you have like me, you have Deb, you have Plez, you know what I mean? You have all the people just coming together. Princess, like, she got dethroned and you took the crown. We love you.
I go to everybody. I support every small YouTuber.
You do.
And I mention everybody's name that I can because this table is so big. We don't have to be selfish, jealous. We share each other. And like I said, when I tell them about you, I said, go to see her contact. Everybody got something that can help you. And I do. You can ask everybody. I always name the YouTubers, even when I watch new people and they may only have 15 followers. But you know what I do? I invite them to my page, talk about them, bring them on. Nobody knows who they are, but then they start following them.
Yeah.
And they just like, don't tell me, tell the people. She does a lot of political stuff. I'm crying about Como, but if he had to be revealed, it had to be revealed.
Me too.
Yes, but I love you. I'm great. My husband had a long surgery today, and when I say I am exhausted, but y'all listen to Miss Candy about these relationships, because honey, don't be like my girlfriend. Jesus, married, and this dude didn't tell her he had but 2 kids. They had 5, and she's stuck like Chuck.
Ridiculous.
They're in a marriage, and she just does whatever she wants. Sometimes she go girls trips and don't even tell him she's going. He goes on guys trips and don't tell her anything.
That's not a marriage. That's an arrangement. That's not a marriage. That's an arrangement.
Yes, I told her to sign all your money over to your mama, girl, and get out. Just say you about to lose the house, sell it, and be gone.
Exactly. Pull a Shawnee O'Neal. Put everything in your mom's name. Yeah. Yeah. Love you, Marcella.
Right. Love you too.
Sending love to your husband. And we will see you on Sunday for your birthday. The Candy Canes are going to come and show out.
Y'all, I will be 56. I love you.
Love you too.
Bye-bye.
Yay! Yes, yes, yes. That's right. We are sending healing thoughts and love to your husband, Marcella. Thank you so much for coming through. That's right, Candy Canes. We're going to celebrate Marcella's birthday on Sunday, 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. There's going to be games and prizes, and I want my Candy Canes to come out and show through. So you guys, we have been on here for 2.5 hours. We talked about so many great things. And again, key takeaways: you are worthy. You are more than enough. Listen to your intuition. If something is a red flag, if something doesn't feel right, it's not right. Honor yourself, respect yourself, and you are so worthy and deserving of love. Hey, Miss Gemini Talks. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, everyone. Okay, and with that, we are going to leave it. We will be back tomorrow at 3 o'clock for either a pop culture recap or maybe another self-care session. We'll see. But no matter what, Sunday, Speak with Your Girl Marcella will be there for her birthday party. Mwah. I love you, my beautiful Candy Canes. If you're watching this on the replay, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and also don't forget to share my channel with a couple of friends. Anybody who's interested in self-care or interested in pop culture and reality TV, share this with a couple of friends. I love you guys. I love you, CC. I love you, Young Rich. I love you, 2B. I love you, Randa. I love you, AL. I love you, Miss Gemini. I love you, Miss T. I love you, everyone who is in here. If I didn't say your name right now, I still love you. I love you, Shink and Sharon. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you so much for coming through. I love you, Pages Coleman. Yes, she says hi. I love all of you guys. And if you ever feel sad or discouraged, reach out for help. Always reach out for help. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to a friend. You can reach out to a family member. You can reach out to a therapist or a counselor. You can Google it. But at any point in time, never feel like you are alone. Never feel like you don't have options. Always reach out. There are people that love you and support you, and there are always resources available to you. So if you're ever in a bad place, please, please, please reach out for help. Letitia's voice says, thank you, Candy. I'm all about self-care. Exactly. Ms. Gemini Talk says, we love you too. Yes. Mwah. I've had so much fun. You guys have filled my cup up. I hope I poured into you. I love you guys. And I will see you next time. And happy early birthday, Marcella. We love you. Bye.